All right, if you're a Californian, the current LA riots
I am a Californian.
is an example of your tax dollars at work. Here's why I can say that with real confidence.
Because nothing says real confidence like that shirt. Sorry, did you win that in a leg wrestling match with Dinesh D'Souza?
Start here. The Coalition
Did Debbie give you that?
for Human Immigrant Rights,
Yeah, that's the same organization.
CHIRLA, CHIRLA, one of the key players in fomenting the violent response to immigration enforcement actions over the weekend. Last hour, if you missed any of today's podcast, make sure you go back and listen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. No.
Don't
make me do more work. Say what you're gonna say, dipshit.
I went through who these people were that we rounded up. They were violent, extremist, rapist, burglars, people that have
First of all, who's we, motherfucker?
eaten up their wives, doing cruel things to children, you name it. That's
No, not you name it. And again, I specifically, there's a portion of those people that are like that, and that's what Trump promised. But scooping up people who are just in fucking, parking lots, picking up like construction jobs and doing roofing when it's 100 degrees out is not what he promised. And again, wasn't going to even be a priority in this regard. So
this is all really about. Okay, this is not about scooping up people in the middle of the night.
it is about scooping up people in the middle of the night. It's exactly that.
So who's
Christina says humans aren't illegals. Again, I got to tell you guys, this is a language fight. This is a jargon issue that nobody cares about. Nicknaming them illegals because they're here illegally is something that any country would do. And again, even when you're there legally in China, they call you a Uyghurun, which is an outsider. It's even worse than foreigner. It's, again, not a fight worth having. It doesn't matter because even in, quote, if you're going to call them an illegal, you've got to argue that they have to have due process so you can prove that.
CHIRLA? Well, it's an LA-based nonprofit. They take radical positions on immigration. For example,
radical!
It led the 2018 campaign to abolish ICE. It currently leads the Los Angeles.
By the way, not to be confused with Shane CHIRLA, who is a hockey player. He's a former hockey player. He used to play for, who was it? Was it the Maple Leafs? Anyways, okay.
Rapid Response Network, which gathers intel about enforcement actions and deploys activists to respond to, in other words, to put our police officers and ICE federal agents in danger by exposing them in advance. They also have strong ties.
Hold on. Run that by me again, dipshit. I want to show you guys something in a second.
To put our police officers. Response Network, which gathers intel about enforcement actions and deploys activists to respond to, in other words, to put our police officers and ICE federal agents in danger by exposing them in advance.
All right. Again, exposing them, really, they more than likely, when they get a hint of that shit, they tell it so everybody can beat feet. People don't hunker down in fucking apartment buildings when they know ICE is coming. They bug out.
Have strong ties to the Democrat Party.
Right, but yeah, exactly. Now you give a shit about the police? Hey, who was it that didn't allow them to get a heads up on Jan 6, I guess?
California, they have supported the election of Democrat candidates throughout its lobby.
How did you see Trump's trousers, oh dear?
Arm and throughout its history. It has a really close relationship with Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass. The organization also has a close relationship with organized labor in the state. Now, wait a minute. You don't mean like SEIU. I'll have Jason give me an update on SEIU, the head guy of SEIU. If you followed me back when we were on Fox and back in those days on radio, you know the role of SEIU and how bad this organization really is. They are...
Oh, unions, terrible.
I believe they are just insurrectionists through and through.
They are insurrectionists.
Communist through and through.
Oh, there's a catheter in his pants? Oh, okay. Hold on. Trump... possible catheter pants. Oh dear God, this is gonna. Trump wearing a Foley catheter. Pose. Okay, hold on. Images. Oh. Oh yeah. So he's got one running down his leg. Is that the idea? Is Trump wearing a Foley catheter or? Ew. Yeah, there's okay, this is okay, so this is the idea on Blue Sky that he was at the UFC and he was wearing he had a little catheter thing sticking out here, and that's how it works. They pin it to your leg and then you pee in a bag because you like piss yourself. Maybe he and Musk were having dueling ketamine, like a ket-off, as it were. And apparently it's not just there. There was another shot of him on the lawn earlier. Yeah, this is on Reddit. Hold on, let me see. Trump's pants at the... Lumps in Trump's pants revive health concerns. A speculation of leg braces grows after tumbling upstairs. Oh, and that's where people are like, nah, it's not. He's not wearing leg braces. He's got a fucking catheter taped to his legs, and he's got two of them in case he has to switch bags on a flight. I mean, he could have like bands on his legs for stuff. Trump suggested me wearing leg braces based on a photo because he stumbled. Their Patriot takes what's going on here. Yeah. Exoskeleton leg braces. That's what everybody's throwing around there. Leg braces appears though he had a catheter in as well. Yeah, that's what it looks like more to me. And then they have either a backup or he just has the other tube running out the other way. I don't know. Ew. That's once for his ass.
That's
oh
my
no.
opinion. The organization also has a close relationship with the organized labors, which in turn, they become a major financial supporter of Democratic politicians. On Friday, CHIRLA held a rally protesting ISIS enforcement actions and the arrest of the SEIU president for obstruction. Now, the incredible part is that CHIRLA
U.S. citizen
activities are primarily funded by you if you are a taxpayer in California. We have obtained a financial audit shows that for fiscal year ending 2023,
hold on,
run by Singham is also behind Jing kind of script. He made his wealth by selling IT software business to an investment firm partially owned by the Communist Party in China. He is a major funder of a group called the People's Forum.
Which is different than Penthouse Forum. I'm just saying. I mean, I never thought it would happen to me, but
People's Forum. It's not. They're not hiding in plain sight there. Below are excerpts from a very long expose that Just the News published in March this year. Hang on, I'm just reading my notes from.
Great. Well, yeah, we got it.
Jason, meet the pro-CCP Marxist revolutionary group behind the Mohammed Khalil protests of 3/20/25. Jason, remind me who...
Sorry, CHIRLA's behind Mohammed Khalil?
Mahmoud Khalil is. He was the guy, Columbia University, that set all that off. Give us a quick thumbnail of him.
That's it. Yeah, he was one of the central figures when they were, shutting down Columbia. There was a much larger, group, which we will go into later, that were doing this thing called Shut It Down for Palestine. Again, another tie to social...
Jason Buttrill, that's unfortunate, head writer and researcher for Glenn Beck, who used to work for an Intel, used to be in the intelligence services, which shouldn't send up anyone's radar at all in MAGA land.
Marxists, for some weird, odd reason, heavy focus on Maoism in particular.
Of course.
But yeah,
course,
that's who
definitely.
that guy was, and that's
Okay.
also who the Trump administration was looking to deport.
So the People's Forum has been a driving force behind the protests condemning the detention and possible deportation of the pro-Palestinian Columbia graduate student
Yes, Jason Butt Drill.
Mahmoud Khalil.
Yeah.
There are scores of videos posted by the forum on social media detailing the group's role in organizing, promoting, attending, and leading all of the pro-Khalil protests. They did a rally outside the courthouse. They did a sit-in at Trump Tower.
All legal.
Khalil's legal team has addressed the crowd at a protest organized
All
by
legal.
the forum.
Still legal.
This is all from that American
This is all legal. I don't know.
billionaire that now lives in China. The forum is led by a guy named Milano de los Santos.
Sorry. But I first of all, I got so hooked on the Milanos idea that is he a dark chocolate Milano or is he another? But then just Glenn Beck trying to pronounce foreign names is, I didn't realize I was going to have that little bit of joy.
Saying that as white as a white man can possibly say it, because that's who I am. Also, personally tweeted
Sorry, as a white man, no. You've lost your white man card. I can kick you the fuck out anytime I want.
times to promote the forum-led protests for Khalil. Major patron for the People's Forum is the communist businessman Neville Roy Singham.
Yes, Neville Roy Singham sounds very Chinese communist to me.
For months, we've been the target of a campaign that alleges our funding comes from dark money. A few years ago, we met Roy Singham, a Marxist comrade who sold his company and donated most of his wealth to nonprofits that focus on political education, culture, and internationalism. This is from the People's Forum.
Cool.
Singham married Jody Evans. Who is Jody Evans? Well,
I don't know. Where's your chalkboard?
she's the co-founder of the radical left-wing group Code Pink. Her group touts itself as anti-war, but it's also very pro-China and very very anti-Israel, strangely, pro-Islamists. The New York Times reported that Singham works in Shanghai. That is
Code Pink's always coming out on behalf of the Houthis.
Are linked to the Chinese Communist Party. This is from the New York Times.
Oh, so it's definitely fake news.
He has attended at least one CCP workshop on promoting the party globally. The New York Times also reported that he provides backing for the People's Forum. The Free Beacon has reported that key leaders for the forum serve in top position at.
The Free Beacon, isn't that that's the newspaper that paid Christopher Steele to create the dossier that they later decided they didn't want to print because it was because Trump was in the lead at that point, and then Christopher Steele sold it to the Clinton campaign, and they were like, okay, we can't run with this, it's too gross, and we think we're going to beat him anyways. And so he was like, but there's crimes in this, and he took it to the FBI, and one of the lawyers that was working for Clinton was like, yeah, I agree, there's fucking crimes here, let me know if I can help you. And they're like, conspiracy. Yeah, that guy.
Justice and Education Fund. The Free Beacon also reported that the network run by Singham is also behind Breakthrough Media and Dongsheng News, who both push pro-China narratives and whose content is reshared by the forum here in the United States. Free Press also reported that Singham and Evans have donated over $20 million to the People's Forum from 2017 to 2022 through a series of shell organizations and donor advisory groups, accounting for nearly all of the group's funding.
Okay, and you do realize is every member of the people is the majority of the people that are actually showing up at this thing, are they on the fucking mailing list of this organization or a part of it? No, they are absolutely not. They had little to do, especially with the rioting part of it. If you could argue, they were the ones that gathered in that park where there was no fighting.
Free Beacon also reported in 2024 the People's Forum had encouraged anti-Israel activists to recreate the violent protests of the summer of 2020, just hours before the rioters stormed and occupied a building at Columbia University campus.
Fabulous. I'm riveted.
Well, this
This
weekend's
is so
immigration
stupid.
approach.
Okay, hold on. Meanwhile, can I show you this? This is KTLA. This is from the actual news in here. Let's see.
Has led to dozens of arrests, with a handful of law enforcement officers injured.
And California is taking legal action over President Trump's National Guard deployment. Kimberly Chang is live in downtown LA with an update for us. Hi, Kimberly.
Lou, Glenn, hi. Just in the last 20 minutes or so, we've seen this.
Kimberly, you couldn't get a tighter blue shirt? I mean, look, I realize this is your moment, but good Lord, woman. Bless your heart.
Group really gathered behind us of protesters. They're telling us that this is members of clergy who have gathered here to protest the National Guard presence. Now we're going to take a pan over to our left where you can see the National Guard presence here in front of a federal building. And I do want to apologize in advance if you see any expletives on the wall. There's a lot of graffiti on these buildings. I want to mention that CNN.
Yes, teach those buildings a lesson, everyone. Yes. Show those buildings who's boss.
Reported that 500
It is LA, right? It is. Yeah, I know.
Marines based out of the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center have been mobilized and are planning to join the National Guard troops that were activated.
Hippies, 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 hippies. It's like literally like this idea that it's a fucking invasion. And they're like, I just got down here from Topanga and my blood sugar is going into the toilet. To quote Richard Jennings, someone get me what is it? Somebody get me a vegan meal and a motivational cassette tape.
By President Trump over the weekend. Okay, we're hearing a lot of screaming, so our photographer is kind of moving forward to see what is going on beyond this large crowd here. If you could take us back live. We're hearing a lot of noise. We're seeing some things being thrown in the air at a vehicle that just drove by toward the federal building. Now back here live, you can see as we...
Yeah, great job, guys. Yeah, you don't know who's in there. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know if they're on your side or not. Yeah, throw shit. There's one of those words that she was saying, be careful, you might see a bad word. Long hair, freaky people. That's right.
The scene here, large crowd has gathered here in downtown Los Angeles.
That's not nice.
LAPD here right in front of us. And just down the street, again, this crowd protests.
There's some slim people in there.
National Guard troops just down the street. Okay, we're going to move out of the roadway here because you can see the
Because it's a roadway?
vehicle coming in, protesters surrounding these vehicles that are coming in to this area right now. And you can see some people right now kicking and throwing things. We're going to move back. We're going to move back. We're going to move back. We see people with objects that they're throwing and hitting these vehicles, which look like federal vehicles that are going in here
Like, dude,
toward the federal building.
They're going to come snatch you up. What are you doing? You're hitting them with an umbrella. Simmer down. Yeah, that'll do it. Boom. They were never prepared for that. Dude with like a sleeveless weed shirt. Totally an invasion.
We're trying to take a step
These
back.
are you guys got to take this seriously. These are the ICBMs of umbrellas.
So you guys can see this scene, but we want to stay safe as well. I'm trying to watch our photographer here.
Yeah, because he's going to hit the truck and it's going to bounce back and hit somebody behind him like a stupid Three Stooges sketch.
As he's giving you these images, you can see here, U.S. Customs and Border Protection vehicles driving in towards the federal building here. And just a few seconds ago, you see people throwing things and hitting these cars that are trying to make their way in.
They also yelled dirty words.
And a lot of expletives being shouted right now.
Not a lot of them. I gotta say, as someone with a relatively high expletive count on the internet, I'm gonna go with one. I heard one. Yeah. Did you see the ice court in San Francisco, Hal? The outside of it, you mean? Or do they have cameras inside? Because if it's the outside, yes.
Earlier this morning, there were smaller groups. This group really just gathered here in the last 30 minutes or so.
Why they always got to film heavy women when she's saying it was a smaller group earlier, or this is a big crowd? Did you notice that? Am I the only person noticing this? Is it just my eye for irony?
You guys of course, they have been protesting the
course.
ongoing ICE raids. Right now, they're shouting.
Yeah, that's fine. There you go. Yell shame, all that kind of stuff. Don't strike the vehicles. There's no point to it anyways. You're not going to have an impact, except you're going to fuck it up for everybody.
Hear them shouting shame as the U.S. Customs and Border Protection vehicles are trying to make their way in right now. Earlier, I spoke with a woman.
Yeah, make sure you get it on film.
Who said that they were planning.
We want proof that this happened.
Holding peaceful protests out here. She said that there were members of clergy out here and they wanted to remain peaceful.
Yeah, this is the issue that people have. It's like these fucking trucks.
Let me see if we could walk.
And I will say there's like, I guess that's one of the clergy. Let's just assume, because he's dressed like a clergyman that would be talked to by a detective in a 1950s police drama in downtown Los Angeles where they're looking for somebody in a flop house that the church sets up. That he's one of the guys who went out there and stopped people from hitting the vehicles with shit.
And try and grab. Let's go this way. Let's walk this way, Ro. I'm trying to guide Rolo here so you can see what's happening here in the crowd as we try to make our way to speak to.
Yeah, some cars are coming from the east and some cars are coming. It's very. This is
one of the organs.
It's devastating. Tell us, Glenn, how our tax dollars are destroying the world.
These are some of the people that are involved. Again, you also have the federal government involved. DHS, under Mayorkas, was also helping fund, I think it was CHIRLA, wasn't it?
CHIRLA.
Yeah. Tell me that connection.
Yeah, so
CHIRLA.
I just
CHIRLA.
lost it on my notes too.
Ah, damn it. You had it. It was right there. Something about CHIRLA. Was it any relation to children's? By the way, here's, this is CHIRLA's website, in case you want to know. Know your rights. Conoce tus derechos. Give today. Annual membership drive, become a member, know your rights presentations, notice of class action settlement, this is their number, there's the legal assistance if you need it, and play access to labor, legal service, worker abuse protection. So if people are, and again, I got to say, most of the people who are protesting the sweeps are protesting, ironically enough, against sweatshops. Conoce? Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't speak Spanish. So, conoce. So, anyway, student services, deportation defense. This, by the way, having an organization like this in Los Angeles is not a surprise at all. How to prepare for the next climate disaster. All right, that's okay. Yes to immigrants forward. We urge the Biden administration and Congress. Okay, this is obviously, they have not updated this since we switched over. Know your rights, which is fine. CHIRLA's been serving and protecting the immigrant community since 1986. Right, this isn't new. They weren't invented. There's their office. They got a newsletter. They got info@chirla.org. The Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, founded in LA in 1986. Okay, this is right about the time of the Reagan amnesty, I would argue, right? That's about the time. Conoce tus derechos. Better? I'm trying. Look at that kid, the Punham. Look how old he is now. That kid is this age now. You want to feel old? All right, anyways. Philly fans are, yes, absolutely. There's more worse shit during a post LA Lakers win than this. So now, let's see, we'll jump into here. Where is this? Medialized debunked. This is okay. And this is the LA riots are insane. This is what's really happening. This is 11 hours ago. So
we're just going to go over just some of the videos that you might have seen, or maybe even missed some of these. Here's first.
Why would I have seen any one particular video if the whole fucking city is on fire? Why wouldn't I see? Why wouldn't I would be too busy looking at new videos to see the old videos. Why would anybody play it? Motherfucker.
Our U.S. Border Patrol agents under fire.
Under fire. Under fire. Yes, Richard Jennings Kirk was genius. Yeah.
Cut 1. Can't see. There it is. Okay, so they're in there.
Yeah, I'm guessing these guys are less worried about it than the guys outside, I would think, right?
Humvee or whatever it is.
That was the sound of an umbrella hitting the side. That's, by the way, that's the sound of the cops firing like either 40 mics or tear gas.
All right. It's got to be great going into Los Angeles, trying to do your job and feeling this. They're all in gas masks. Now, cut 2. This is.
Yes, that was terrifying. You can't just go right to the next video. I'm overwhelmed with fear.
The vehicle capturing the aftermath of the Border Patrol vehicle as it's struck by objects. Here is cut number 2.
Yeah, they're driving under the underpass. That's where people were dropping shit on there. Right. He's not wearing a gas mask, though, because he's not near the actual event. This is probably under that overpass where they were chucking the bikes off.
You see the broken windshield up in front. All right. Cut 3. These are 4.
Terrifying. I mean, you could show us a giant crater where LA used to be, because obviously it was burned to the ground, but a busted window.
Flags and the chanting on the streets of California. And there, of course, is the Party City Hamas flag. See that one? What are they chanting? I'm a lunatic. I'm a lunatic. You and me, we're lunatics. What was it?
Yeah, again, peaceful protesters walking in line with signs and flags. Yes, be still, my beating heart.
Notice, we're going to get into this next hour. Play that again. Keep playing that. You'll notice there's a sign that they're carrying, and you'll see it here in just a second. Right there. CHIRLA. CHIRLA. We're going to get into what that is.
Coalition for Humane Immigration Rights, Los Angeles.
Here in just a second. But it is important that you understand they're telling you who they are.
Yes, that's part of being part of a protest. That's why would I say don't wear masks. Jesus Christ.
And we're going to get into that here in just a minute. Here are some rioters that are hurling rocks at the federal convoy. Again, just throwing some rocks at everything.
Unbelievable. I mean, these people could easily be killed by this. You're throwing a rock at someone coming by you at 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, no. You're not going to kill someone in a truck with a rock you threw.
Goes through the windshield, it's going to kill the person.
It's not going to go through the windshield. That's not happening.
Yeah. So let's go to the next one. Here's CNN, and how peaceful it is.
At this point, this has been very peaceful, Brian. It has been tense at some points, but we haven't seen any violence happening here. What people are saying is that they don't think ICE belongs in Los Angeles, that they want ICE out of the city.
Yeah, this is the dance party part of the riot. This is the Beat Street riot. Sorry. Yeah. Zoot Suit riot? Maybe. Beat Street, right? Beat Street, the king of the beat. I see you rocking that beat from across the street. Beat Street is a lesson too, because you can't let the street beat you.
Well, you can.
That's right. That's right. I know. I know the soundtrack of Beat Street.
Is that the standard, Glenn?
Don't get me started on the the Last Dragon. All right.
No, it's really not.
It's not peace, because peaceful to me indicates a bunch of people standing around not committing any crimes, right?
Yeah. Yes, where she was, no one was committing any crimes. That's what she means. Where she was. She was not talking about what's happening elsewhere. She has no way of knowing what's happening elsewhere. But where she is, they're asking her, how is it down by you? And she's saying, here it's been relatively peaceful. And we'll see. Right. Again, fuck you, Jan 6 assholes.
maybe walking down the street. This is them blocking a freeway. She's standing in the middle of what seems like a freeway, right?
She's not standing in the middle of what seems like a freeway.
Stopping all this traffic, terrifying the people that couldn't get through.
Yes, we're all terrified when this happens. I know personally.
Right.
And then
because they weren't. Do you realize? Do you have? I mean, I guess that Waymo car that was empty because everybody got out of it and left it in the middle of the street was essentially, I think, what happened was they abandoned the Waymo. That's why they set it on fire. But I don't see any civilian cars being hit by anything so far. They've been pretty goddamn selective.
Mostly peaceful.
It's mostly peaceful. And then, like, just down the street, things are on fire and they're throwing rocks at...
By the way, how are these assholes about the Bundy Ranch standoff where those guys said, we need women in front so that they can shoot the women and give us a reason to kill some feds? And then they had snipers on the ridge that were putting beads on the foreheads of the Bureau of Land Management folks that were down there. How was Glenn and everybody at the Blase about that one?
People passing by at 40 miles an hour. That's not mostly peaceful. That's just not, it's not the standard. You know, like it's
also you're cutting from different areas. If she was there, she would have said, these people are throwing rocks. This is dangerous. We're going to step back like the other lady did. Right. But where she was, you're cutting shit together and creating a false narrative. This is what you would call, what's the phrase I'm looking for? A fake news.
It's easy to be.
Stu, you're a liar. That's all. I'm just going to say it outright. Stu and Glenn are lying. There are areas where there was rioting going on. There were peaceful protests going on. Where that woman was, it was mostly peaceful. That was the point that she was making because she can't see past human lengths of vision or around corners. So she was saying what she saw. They were asking, they had other people around. And when they cut to those people, they were like, oh, there's some people hitting cars with their umbrella and gee whiz, we should all duck for cover. But where she was telling the truth. But you are cutting those things together and saying where I am, it's mostly peaceful, is her lying about what was happening blocks and blocks away because you have no fucking idea about where things are in Los Angeles.
Peaceful most of the time. Most criminals are,
so
I would assume.
I don't know how you are defining the word mostly, but let me help you out. Hiroshima.
Okay.
Hiroshima, 1945.
Fuck you.
It was mostly moderate temperatures, except for that one spike for just a little short period of time on that one day. But it was mostly moderate temperatures. I don't know.
I would make a radiation reference if you were going to say something has a lasting impact on something, and you would say that up to that point, the radiation levels in that area were normal, and then once it was struck, the radiation levels became unlivable for a very long time. Just fucking gross.
Dan, what you know? Here is.
And by the way, like 2 blocks of people throwing shit, or rando dudes in a city of 7 million people throwing shit at cars and thinking they can get away with it, is not fucking Hiroshima, you tit.
Here is Karen Bass, the Los Angeles communist mayor. Here's what she's saying.
And frankly, I'm just outraged because what happened is that when ICE went in, they just took people away. And we just can't have this in our city. And it happened multiple places in the city. And what it does is that it sows a sense of terror throughout the community. For example, location.
Stop. So I just want to make sure, remind you, one of the guys that they arrested was inserting foreign objects into people forcefully. Yeah,
and she's saying you can go after those guys. That's what you said you were there for. But rolling up in 10 trucks to get that guy, what the fuck are you doing?
I think that's called rape.
Sorry.
Myself.
National Director of Nuclear Intelligence warning breaking. DNI nuke warning? Hold on. Why are they worried about U.S. increasing worry that Iran is poised to build nukes. Israel prepares for Iran attack amid warnings the regime is close to having a nuclear weapon unnerving. That's 24. That's the latest news I'm seeing.
I don't know. I'm not an L.A. prosecutor, so I don't know what they call it there. But it should sow some terror into the minds of people like that. We're coming to get you. But that's not the average person in California. And if it is, I remind you, don't go to Disneyland. For the love of God, go to Florida. At least maybe you won't have things inserted inside of you if that's...
Jesus Christ. Fuck off. Oh, Tulsi put out a propaganda video. I see. Gotcha. Hold on. Let's see. DNI Gabbard. Let's see if the filters today. Donald Trump's crazy national intelligence chief claims nuclear wars. Is this the...
Stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation than ever before. Political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families that regular people won't have access to.
Jesus Christ. Is this basically saying, like, leave Russia alone? Is that what that is? What the fuck? Is that on the White House's page or the DNI's page? Okay, maybe it's this week. How about that? How about this month? I don't know why that's separate. Maybe, I don't know, CSL, if we can dig that up, her thing, that like the long form of that without the excess music.
Average Californians behave. We have Jason Buttrill with us.
It's pronounced butt drill.
Jason, you're watching all of this. What jumps out to you?
Specifically the claims of spontaneous grassroots. It's just it's a natural response, to society when something this terrifying happens. But then they all have this one weird ideology blended with another one, which is very, very strange. Like when, this is kind of a crazy coincidence that they're all socialists, communists, Marxists with a little hint of Islamism. That's just
really?
I don't, does anything ever weird?
All right. Again, that's like saying, it's odd, but every time I see Republicans march on a building, they either gather. Thank you for that, CSL. They're either partnered with white supremacists or Confederates. So this is the Jesus Christ on her visit to Hiroshima. So this is okay. So this is 9 hours ago. What the fuck kind of image is this? This is on her page?
I recently visited Hiroshima in Japan and stood at the epicenter of a city that remains scarred by the unimaginable horror caused by a single nuclear bomb dropped.
And I didn't get superpowers, I'm sorry to tell everyone.
In 1945, 80 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to find the words to express what I saw. The stories that I heard, the haunting...
Oh my God. Sorry, when does the Hallmark movie begin filming?
Sadness that still remains. This is an experience that will stay with me forever. This attack obliterated the city, killed over 300,000 people, many dying instantly while others died from severe burns, injuries, radiation sickness, and cancer that set in the following months and years. Mm-hmm. Nagasaki suffered the same fate. Homes, schools, families, all gone in a flash.
Great. Now do Nanjing around the same time. Same death numbers, but all by hand.
Survivors, the hibokusha, they carried the pain of extreme burns, radiation sickness, and loss for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Survivors of this attack were asked to put in paintings and drawings their own memories and how they felt and what they saw, and those paintings and the suffering that they conveyed, the pain and the sense of loss were almost more powerful than the photos themselves.
Yeah, it's almost like it would be really a huge mistake to put someone like Donald Trump or Pete Hegseth in charge of weapons that are 10 to 20 times more devastating than the one that was dropped on Hiroshima or Nagasaki. Hey!
Yet this one bomb that caused so much destruction on Hiroshima was tiny compared to today's nuclear bombs. The bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima...
by the way, I thought this music playing in the background was added by somebody else to like ratchet up how fucking ridiculous this is. This is embarrassing.
Had a yield of just 15 kilotons of TNT, whereas today's nuclear warheads range in size.
By the way, don't buy the sympathy act that she gives a rat fuck about what happened to Japan in the fucking 40s. This is Russian propaganda about don't push us or we'll have to use our nukes and you don't want that.
From 100 kilotons to over 1 megaton. A single nuclear weapon today could kill millions in just minutes. Just one of these nuclear bombs would
what the fuck?
Vaporize everything at its core. People, buildings, life itself.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're against it.
Shockwave would crush structures miles away, killing and maiming countless people. And then comes the fallout. Radioactive poison spreading through the air, water, and soil, condemning survivors to agonizing deaths or lifelong suffering.
And?
A nuclear winter could follow, with smoke and ash completely blocking the sun, plunging the world into darkness and cold, killing crops.
Right, which is why almost nobody seriously wants to use these things. So, but is this now them justifying like, look, Russia's not going to do this, and we're clearly not going to do this, and maybe if India and Pakistan do this, it'll be in the desert where nobody gives a shit. But what if Iran gets one? We got to kill them first. That's what this also feels like.
Acid rain would scar the earth, wiping out entire ecosystems.
Oh, now you give a shit about ecosystems?
This isn't some.
What about the slow damage being done by pollution? Are you as concerned about that? No, because it's not exciting. And why is this kid drinking acid rain or trying to lick a snowflake like a Peanuts kid?
Science fiction story. This is the reality of what's at stake. What we are.
Yeah, we know.
Facing now, because as we stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation than ever before.
That's not true at all. That's so fucking not true.
Political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families.
Get the fuck out of here. Nobody's like, fuck it. Let's have a nuclear war. I'm going to live in a bunker for 100 years. Jesus Christ. Fuck you, lady. Hold on. Where is it?
Could easily be accomplished with a computer.
That regular people won't have access to.
Listen to the fucking violin music in the background.
So it's up to us, the people, to speak up and demand an end to this madness. We must reject this path to nuclear war and work toward a world where no one has to live in fear of a nuclear holocaust.
Okay, total nuclear deproliferation, I guess starting with the United States. You are the DNI. What the shit? What the hell was that? This is, yeah, go show those bombs who's boss. This is let me be abundantly good. This is Russian propaganda. That's what this is. This is stop fucking with Russia because they might use their nukes. That's what it's 100% where this came from. It's just just shitty, overly dramatic Russian propaganda. 100%. That's all this is. Fuck off, lady. What's she gonna do? Come back to the United States and go, we gotta get rid of all of our nukes. And then we gotta make everybody else get rid of their nukes too. But I guess them first. So like everybody. good God. Can I also show, I'm not going to dump into these, but I want to show you this real quick. This is another one of those anti-ICE protest funding exposed. This is another one of those videos where they're like, that's who's paying for all of this. The CHIRLA folks. It's all, yeah. So, and then there's, of course, there's Salcido, who always uses his Spanish accent when he's speaking about things to get street cred, and then I guess turns on other people who came over here another way.